Hello, everyone, and welcome back to It's Okay Not to Be Fabulous Every Day. I am Cyrus Webb, joined by my co host, Dalsimer, the author of the award winning book by that title. So glad you guys could join us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and on X. We're going to bring in our friends over on Instagram here so they can be a part of our chat too. And then we're going to bring in our friends over on Amazon as well. If you guys have not done so already, make sure you guys are staying connected with us here so you guys don't miss any of our programming either on Amazon or the other platforms as well. And we're live on Amazon Live for It's Okay Not to Be Fabulous Every Day, featuring Dalsimer and myself based on her book. So glad you guys could join us on the Amazon platform. If you guys are new to us on Amazon, make sure you guys hit that follow button. You see it either here in this corner or down below. You also will see Allie's book there. You guys can be able to have a great chapter to go through today. But Allie, how you doing?
I am doing wonderfully today. It's been a wonderful week. How about you? Have you had a good week?
I've had an amazing week. I've had an amazing. I can't even lie. It's been very good. It's gone fast. I tell people that's how I know I'm getting old, Allie. It went fast, but it's been a good been a good week.
Well, they go fast when a lot happens, right?
Well, you know what? Okay, I'll take that too because it has been a lot of moving parts. Allie, we have a great chapter to get into, and there's so much in it. You and I actually just had a great show before this before this show, because it really made me think about my own life, and that's why I told you in the very beginning that this book helps people to feel seen,
Hmm.
because I used to think something was wrong with me because of the way I approached life and how singular I could be in my focus. And a book like this that not only helps us, as we've been talking about, Allie, to not feel the pressure, to be everything every day, but
Hmm.
also to embrace who we are, I think really can make a difference. Talk to us about that for you. But we're going to get into today's message. But what has it been like for you to hear from other readers about how this book is helping them feel seen?
Yeah. So it's very interesting because the book, as you know, it's not judgmental and
Yeah.
it's intended for pretty much anyone who is going through what I call, life's inflection points. You're going through some
Mhm.
sort of change or trauma or stressor, whether it's positive or negative. And the book tries to provide a pathway, stepping stones to help lead you on your journey, while also very much saying it's up to you to take the step to pursue that path, right? No one's going
Right.
to do it for you. Um, and it's really been interesting to hear how many different um, types of paths, different journeys people are experiencing, and how the book's messages have helped them in different ways.
Yeah.
So it's been I don't know, a learning experience for me as well.
Are you finding reinforcement in the messages for yourself as you're going through it in this
So
series,
much.
Ellie?
So much. Some more than others, but yes, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, last week's message really, really spoke to me a lot. And this week's, in this week's message, we talked just a second ago. This week's message is very much the fulcrum, uh, the the um, the pivot point, the
Mhm.
hinge of the whole book. Like this is where the rubber meets the road, right? Like this
Yeah.
is it.
Yeah.
And in reading it today, what I really felt was uh, just pride in myself that I
Oh,
am
good.
taking this journey, and also just on a personal note, my kids who have both been experiencing their own journeys and the ups and downs of those journeys,
Mhm.
because I feel like we're doing what needs to be done every day.
Yeah. Well, Ellie, there's a lot in this chapter. We'll go ahead and we'll get started. I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Okay, all right. Do or do not. There is no try. Yoda. When we're young, we all dream about what we'll do and be when we grow up. Yet 95% of us never attain our dreams or our life's desires. Why? Maybe we didn't set specific, realistic, and achievable milestones. Maybe we didn't embrace a possible future consistently and with determination. Succeeding in our chosen endeavor takes effort. Everything we do takes effort. So if your goal is important, you'll do what it takes to get there. Or will you? For example, many of us want to lose weight. Definitely doable. However, if we don't identify specific behavioral changes to implement, the goal becomes too amorphous. If we don't set realistic targets, the goal becomes overwhelming. If we don't lay out a stepwise timeline, the goal becomes indeterminate. Result? We set ourselves up for failure. Medically based issues aside, losing weight is not rocket science. Give up fried and processed foods, reduce our intake of alcohol and refined sugars, exercise daily, track and record our progress, boom. The hitch? How many of us are willing to make those changes? Is the long-term target of losing 20 pounds worth skipping that second slice of pizza or a caramel macchiato today? For most of us, the answer is no. We then deceive ourselves that cheating today means our ambition is unattainable, that we are somehow incapable of achieving our goal. And that's when we berate our weakness, doubt our abilities and competencies, and slump deeper into our self-made ruts. Here's a trick to avoid that downward spiral. Focus on the big picture. Instead of giving up when temporarily stalled or set back, grace yourself a moment's respite and seize tomorrow's potential. If you really want that pizza, forgo the macchiato. The same is true for other areas of our lives, other tasks or goals we may have. If you need to complete a paper or presentation by a specified deadline, but find yourself unable to focus, take a break, try again later. We all experience days when the stars don't align, when the mood doesn't hit, and when nothing comes together. Instead of sitting at a computer staring at a blinking cursor, try listening to music, or taking a walk, or playing with your dog, or calling a friend, or whatever. Changing your focus frees your thoughts and reinvigorates your spirit, enabling you to return to the task later. Refreshed and energized, your brain will better focus, allowing you to overcome life's transient blockages. Achieving your dream, whether big or small, is what counts. If you want to live life on your terms, today is the day to take one action that will bring you closer to living your dream. If you want it, you will find a way.
Well, Allie, as I said, there's a lot in this, and I think there's so many pieces for sure. First of all, talk to us about the quote from Yoda. Why does that resonate with you?
So, if you've seen the movie, Luke Skywalker is trying to raise the ship. Can't remember what it's called now. It's been too long. Out of the swamp, and he's like, "I'm trying, I'm trying, I'm trying," and Yoda's like, do or do not. There is no try. You either do it or you don't do it, because he knows that Luke has that power inside of him. He has what it takes to achieve his goal. If putting it in terms of my book, everyone's got an inner fabulosity that will help them maximize their potential. It's already inside.
Yeah.
And so you just have to do it, and there is no try about it, because trying implies that you may not actually succeed. All we can do is our best. But if we do our best at something we are already capable of accomplishing, we will succeed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. And I was telling you, I felt this one very personally because I have, as my platform has grown, and I've shared this even in some interviews recently, that when people talk to me about, I have never been comfortable talking about success. It always has felt weird and in some ways wrong. Just because of the way I was brought up, that about not bragging or boasting or, that kind of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was saying to Allie before the show that for myself, when she asked the question about what we want to do, right? I've always been very clear in that. And I never doubted I could do it. I didn't know the way it would unfold, but I never doubted that I had the discipline. And that's what I wanted to get to, Allie, because I am a person who people who went to school with me that still now have rediscovered me now talk about how focused I was even in school. No matter what was going on in the class, people talking, I could stay focused on the information. And that's always been a superpower of mine. But it has come with its own challenges, right? And I thought about that when you talk about the pizza, because discipline is something I do very well. What has that been like for you to be honest about that, though? That a lot of times in our lives that we don't have what we say we want because of lack of focus and discipline.
Well, I can't speak for everyone. I can speak from my own experience.
Mhm.
And I found, especially when I was younger, that I tended to blame others for my results.
Huh.
And if you don't take responsibility for your own actions,
Mhm.
then you won't take responsibility for your own accomplishments or failures.
Mm.
And so for me, this chapter is very much about, do or do not. It's up to you. No one is going to do this for you.
Yeah.
Others may help you. That's bonus. That's great. Others may hinder
Right.
you. That's less good. But ultimately, only you have the power to shift that mindset and to embrace your inner strength, your inner fabulosity, so that you can accomplish what you say you want to accomplish, right? This is your goal. No one's saying to you, hey, you need to go do XYZ. This is something you want to do.
Right.
So who are you harming by not doing it? If let's use the weight example because so many of us really do want to lose weight, right?
Mhm.
Ubiquitous. So if you want to lose weight and then you're like, oh, but you know what? It's a party, so I'm just going to eat a few brownies. Who are you harming by doing that? No one else at the party cares. They're not going to gain the weight. They're not ingesting those calories and that sugar, right?
Right.
Only you are harmed or alternately helped if you're like, man, I really want that brownie, but you know what? I really want to fit into a bikini by June.
Mhm.
So you're the one who gets the benefit. You're the one who gets the harm. You're the one who has to decide what you want to do
Yeah.
or do not. There's no try. I'm going to try not to eat that. Nobody's going to hold a gun to your head and force you to eat something, you
Right.
know?
And that's why the way you started this off, I think, is perfect for a lot of people. And that is when you say when we're young, we all dream about what we'll grow up to be and do, and then you say, yet 95% of us never attain our dreams or our life's desire. Then why? And you say maybe we didn't set specific, realistic, and achievable milestones. I want to talk about that because I think for a lot of people, like for myself, as I was sharing with Ellie, when I was growing up, I wanted to be an artist and a writer. I never said I wanted to be a best-selling author or live in a big house and all of that, or be a world famous artist and all of that. I only wanted to draw and write. That was it. I didn't have any of the extra stuff attached to it. Do you think that also, when we talk about that, Allie, is why it's so important to be clear on the why we say we want to do what we do?
Absolutely. And I talk about that in other places in the book.
Hmm.
No child ever says, I want to be rich and famous. They say, I want to be a fireman. Well, a fireman is someone who wants to help someone. They want to go
Yeah.
into a career where they're helpful. Or I want to be a teacher because they enjoy sharing. Or whatever it is they say they want. I want to be an astronaut. That's someone who wants to explore. They enjoy adventure.
Mhm.
But little kids don't have the vocabulary for or the mental capacity yet to really dig down into what's behind that. And unlike you, most people don't know what they want to do for a career. Um, some do, and you're lucky if you
Mhm.
do. But I think what happens is we all sort of have a sense as we're growing through our teens into our 20s. We have a sense of the things that we enjoy doing and that bring us pleasure. But then we take a job. We'll take a job, any job. Everybody's got to have a job. You got to have a paycheck, no problem.
Yeah.
The
Mhm.
problem comes when you then completely forget about that long term goal or dream. Like, I really enjoy art, I enjoy writing. And then you take a job at, a hotel managing the desk.
Mhm.
And then you get into hotel management and then you focus on traveling because you want to visit other hotels. And then you get into whatever it is and you forget about your dream of writing and drawing.
Mhm.
That's what happens. We fall
Yeah.
into that rut. But if we take that job, get that paycheck, and use it as a means to pursue our goals, remembering that we want to be an
Yeah.
artist, we want to be an author,
Yeah.
and taking one step towards that goal, having a to-do list, knowing a plan. the first step is creating a plan, right?
Hmm.
So, having that and maintaining that focus, that's where the 95% get lost. They get caught up in the day to day, the urgent, unimportant. We talked about that in a different show, the four quadrants, and people get caught up in that urgent, unimportant quadrant, things that have to be done immediately, but they really don't mean a thing. And we
Yeah.
forget about the urgent, I mean, the important non-urgent, the ones that aren't time pressing but are super important, our long-term goals and dreams. And I think that's what happens.
Alec, it was so funny. I couldn't help but smile as you were talking because I was mentioning earlier about conversations I have with with individuals who've known me over the years. And the very first time I was in the newspaper was in 1999. I was in hotel management and hosting an art show and poetry reading at the hotel in the meeting room. So I have again, even though I had taken another job, I still was able to do what I wanted to do and was getting recognized for it. And I think for you're exactly right. I think also, and this kind of ties in as I'm now thinking, Allie. It ties into what you talk about earlier in the book, though. Sometimes life happens to us, and we get sidetracked, right? We may think this is what I'm going to do, and then an event happens in our life, and it sidetracks us. What is that? Do you think? Well, I'll ask you the question. Do you think then that's when we have to come back to the title of the book and realize that what I may have gotten off track. I may not be where I want to be, but I'm going to use this time now to try to get back there.
Absolutely, if it's still important. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, as we grow and as life happens, our priorities do change. And for someone like you who has known from an early age what you want to do, that's great, and you've been able to continue to pursue it. A lot of us know generally, like maybe we know, well, we want to go into the arts, but we don't really know what in the arts we want to do yet.
Yeah.
um, and then as we grow and change, we can lean into those things that really bring us joy and deep fulfillment. And as life happens, then either that's an obstacle that we're seeing as we take our eyes off the goal, or it's a shift in the stream bed that's taking us maybe in the arts, but maybe now we're looking at being a musician instead of being an actor, or whatever
Yeah.
that shift is. Because and I talk about this, I think I talk about this, maybe I don't, but we have to, it's like Bruce Lee said, you have to be like water flowing over the stream rocks, right? You have to go with the flow. We choose that stream,
Yeah.
but then we have to let it take us where it needs to be. And we can't fight that, because if we fight the current, we're never going to get anywhere. So we have to be open to the changes, but
Mhm.
also doing enough self-analysis and inward looking to make sure that it's still something that we want to do, then it's going to bring us that deep satisfaction and personal fulfillment.
Yeah. One of the things that you've highlighted in this chapter, and I see you guys, and I apologize, see you guys coming over there on X. Allie, I've noticed we've been getting more folks on X actually for the weekly show. So we appreciate
Awesome.
you guys
Yeah.
joining us on Amazon as well. If you guys have any questions or comments for our segment today, make sure you guys put those in the chat. Allie, you actually have highlighted everything we do takes effort. That's one of the bold statements you have. And what I have said, and I've now amended this because as I've gotten older, I have started giving people more grace because I used to think, and this was wrong of me, and I've realized it. I used to get mad at people, Ellie, for not being the best of themselves that I saw in them and what they said they wanted and they were off track. I used to get upset with
Mm-hmm.
them. And to finally one of my friends said to me, Cyrus, why are you upset about something that seems to be they were okay with the decision? Yes, it's
Mm-hmm.
not what they said they wanted to do, but they seem to. But I'm like, yeah, but they said they they wanted to do this, and this is not going to help them do that. I that's just who I am as someone who cares about people. It's like, oh, you know. But then I'm like, okay, Cyrus, everyone is not going to be able to do, you know, exactly what they want to do when they say they want to do it. So, talk to us about that. What that message is for our audience, Allie. What do you want them to remember about looking at their goals and dreams, and the importance of being honest with themselves about why maybe they have not attained them?
I'm going to share a story.
Okay.
When my daughter was younger, in grade school, she played softball, the travel team. and she liked it. She was good. And so one day we had practice, and practice was at like Oh Dark 100, out like an hour west, um, which wasn't fun for me, but whatever. Um, so I woke her up at, whatever it was, 6 in the morning on a Saturday to go out for, this practice out in boohoo nowhere. And it was kind of spitting sleet. It was still early in the season. Season hadn't started. It was like a crummy day, and she was like, "Oh, I'm so tired, Mom. I don't want to go. I don't want to go." I was like, "Okay, you don't have to go." She was like, "Really?" Because I'm big on, if you make a commitment, you have to keep it.
Yeah.
That's, don't make the commitment if you don't want to keep it. And she'd
Mm-hmm.
made this commitment. She had a team of people waiting for her. And I said, no problem. I'll just, contact coach and tell him that you're done with softball and you won't be playing anymore. And she was like, wait, no, I want to play softball. I said, well, then you better get up. Do or do not, right? It's up to you. You make the choice. And so while you, Cyrus, can't tell your friends they got to do what they got to do, they need to make that decision. And you know what? If you point it out to them, I don't think that's bad. But then if they push back and say, no, I don't want to do that anymore, you can say, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because a friend wants to remind people. But the reality is that, I said it just a second ago, no one gets hurt and no one gets helped by your actions towards your goal, except
Yeah.
you.
Except for you. Yeah. This is a good one, Allie. This is a good one. And just think, all because of the wisdom of Yoda.
Yeah,
And, and do or do not, there is no try. It's a great reminder for all of us. Again, everyone, It's Okay Not to Be Fabulous Every Day. It's the award-winning book by Allie Dalsimer. You can get it in print or the Kindle edition or even on the audio
oh,
as well. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Allie.
no. I was just saying audio. I
Okay.
would like to point out, there's one quick thing before
Yeah.
we move on, because I've been
Yeah.
asked before about that last little paragraph about, because I'm saying things that it's okay to take a break, it's okay to take a step back, take a walk,
Mm-hmm.
call a friend, play with your dog, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I end it with just do one thing every day. And people have said, but you just said don't do it. And I said, no. I said, change what you do, because doing one thing can be taking that walk,
Right.
calling a friend. So I just want to point that out, because that's actually a question I've received a few times. So,
Oh, good. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Well, and that's the way I took it,
mm-hmm.
actually. And I actually correlated to what you said earlier in the book about after your mother's death, about just doing one thing and being
Yeah.
okay with that, no matter what that may be. And I think that is such a good thing. It reminded me of after my grandmother's death and how I felt like, you know what, I can't expect to be 100% right after the funeral.
No.
To just do something moving forward, and that helped me for sure. So I think that's great. Ali, let them know how to stay connected with you and also how to be able to sign up for the newsletter.
Absolutely. You can Google my name, Allie Dalsimer. I'm pretty much everywhere. I'm most active on Instagram, and you can sign up for my newsletter at alliedalsimer.com/newsletter.
All right, Ellie, another great episode. We're winding down to the end of our series, but then we do have the finale, guys, coming up. So we hope you guys will stay tuned for that. For you guys joining us on the Amazon side, I appreciate the follows and the hearts. If you guys are new to us and have not hit the follow button, make sure you guys hit it either in this corner or down below while you're picking up Allie's book. And Allie, looking forward to seeing you next week.
Absolutely, me as well. And I hope you have a fabulous weekend.
Thanks to you as well. Brett Colbert. Brett, hello to you. That's one of my actor friends there from Los
Oh,
Angeles.
lovely.
Brett,
Hey,
congratulations on the new projects too. I'll be getting with you soon, Brett. Take care. And we thank you all for tuning in to another great segment of It's Okay Not to Be Fabulous Every Day. Until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.